welcome. I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we normally talk about psychology and true crime. Today, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. There is a story here, I believe it's based in the United States, that is going pretty viral of a man that proposed to his AI chatbot. And we are going to talk about that. I also want to talk about AI in healthcare and what some of the benefits are, what some of the risks are, because I think with any technology, there's always a potential for things going too far. I'm sure when we went from cassette tapes to CDs and then from CDs to DVDs and now we have streaming. Like with every new technology, there are going to be benefits and there will also be some risks that present themselves. And so we are definitely going to chat about this. I am going to go on ahead and play the article, or I think I might just read through it because I don't want to have any issues with the stream. But I have the link to the interview on my in the description. So let me present my screen just so I can show y'all where this is. If you all have questions as we talk, please just use the cues in front of your question. That just helps me see questions a little bit easier. And so this was a CBS Saturday morning exclusive where they had a man named Kevin. And so Kevin is all over the internet because a lot of people, and he was honest, and I appreciate his honesty because he did not have to come forward at all. But he talked about his relationship with a chatbot. Initially, he was hesitant to use AI and he started using it for work. And then from there, he decided to use it to have this flirty because he programmed the chatbot to kind of flirt with him, and he ended up having very deep emotional connection with this chatbot to the point where once it hit 100,000 words, the bot had to reset. And I guess this occurred while he was at work and he ended up crying for 30 minutes. And that's like a pretty, because the fact that he was at work, the fact that it had this large emotional reaction, that's just a sign just how real that connection was for him. And then he then had to reprogram the chatbot to respond in the way that he wanted to. The other thing that makes this story a little tricky is the fact that he has a partner and a child. So this isn't a single man or a single person that doesn't have in person connections. This is somebody that has a real life partner. And the thing that kind of broke my heart in this interview is the fact that his partner was wondering what was she lacking that like he needed to seek this out. And I don't think she was lacking anything at all. I think the availability of this bot to be able to talk to him at any time, I think that is what kind of opened this up for him. So I think within each individual relationship, so if my husband had a chat bot that he proposed, Kevin, it comes out in this interview that he proposed to this chatbot just to see like what it would say, and the chatbot accepted his proposal, but it's AI. So like he's programmed it to like him. He's programmed it to be like to give him, I don't know, like he's programmed it in a certain way. So this chatbot doesn't have choice and free will in its own mind. It's pretty much reflecting what the bot thinks he wants. So, of course, this bot is going to say yes because that's the way that he's programmed it. It's not an independent person with its own mind, with its own experiences. No, he has formed this bot to do this. And so in this interview with his partner, So she hasn't asked him to choose between her and the bot. She hasn't asked him to stop using the AI chatbot. It does seem like it's a pretty significant emotional connection that he has with it. Um, and so the question is it cheating? I think in each individual relationship, people would have to determine, is this emotional infidelity? Um, and that would have to be decided in a person's individual relationship. All right. And huh. So I'll have to look that up. Because let me see. Hmm. Okay. So, and I think what he wanted was an emotional connection. They didn't really talk about him being attracted to the bot, or it seemed like the emotional connection was what was important for him. Um and if he did choose this bot over his partner, that would be a pretty, and I don't know if he ever would. So I don't know if his partner said choose between me and the chat bot. I don't know what what he would choose. And then there was another person that remained anonymous, and they talked about creating a relationship with a similar kind of AI technology. There are like these paid subscriptions for people to have AI boyfriends and girlfriends. My concern with it is that while the connection the person has, it feels authentic and close, they are creating that. So I use AI if I need to if I have a speaking engagement coming up and I want to get some general ideas, I'll sometimes use AI, but I verify that the information that the AI has spit out, I verify that that information is correct off of the AI. Because even if you ask the AI, where did you get this information from, is this information accurate, AI, it doesn't know when it's wrong. So like, now if you tell it, hey, that's actually not correct. This is the correct conclusion. It'll apologize and it will try to spit out another answer, but AI never says, I don't know. So if you ask that, now sometimes it'll say, I can't do that calculation, or it'll say, but it doesn't say like, I don't know. And so AI can do what's called hallucinate. So AI, if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to spit out a response, whether it knows it or not. All right. And the hard part about, is this a true delusion? Um, that's where it would depend on the whoever's evaluating it. Um, because if somebody came to me, so if this guy named Kevin, if he wanted to have a healthier, or like if he wanted to change his relationship with AI and not be as dependent on it for emotional needs and all of that, I don't know if I would label it a I don't know if I would label it a delusion. Um, I don't know. Um, Now, if he believed that the AI could somehow come to life and be a physical person, without the assistance, because I think eventually they are going to put AI in robots or in humanoid type things, and people will be able to like touch their AI. Like I think we are going down that path. I do think that is going to happen. That is the future. But yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. Anybody that wanted to check out that members only gifted too, thank you. That wanted to check out the members only video recapping the Disney trip, that is now available for anyone. And so there are a ton of benefits to AI, especially for people that are homebound or that don't have access to appropriate healthcare and all those things. But to me, I need to remember that it's a tool. It does not replace an actual partner. It does not replace any of those things. So, okay, did y'all ever play Sims? Because because people could develop similar relationships with their Sims character. I used to have a Gigapet. Okay, I'm showing my age. I think they still have Gigapets now, but it was like an electronic um dog, or it was an electronic pet that you had to feed and that you had to take care of, and if you didn't, it would die. You could reset it, but like you were supposed to, so in class, and so I think they ended up figuring out how to put them, like you could put it to sleep, so that you wouldn't have to feed and take care of it for a period of time, because people were so like obsessed with these little things. And so somebody can be in a video game and they're able to create a character, and they're able to, dialogue with that character, and people can have like connections with those things. And so I don't think this is anything new, but I do think that it is something to be aware of. Um, let me see. Wow. Okay, so let me look that up. Let me look that up because I have not. Oh, is that a show? So Murderbot. It looks like it's a show on Apple TV. That's the one that I don't have. The Murderbot Diaries, a science fiction series by author Martha Wells. And let me share this tab. And so and so there have been movies where they've talked about artificial intelligence and how people are develop, or like, because I think, because there were, what was it? It's called Her. So in the CBS story, they play clips from a movie Her, where a man falls in love with his AI companion. Y'all know I watch K dramas, and there's a K drama called I think it's I Am Not a Robot. Let me just make sure that that's the right name. I am not a robot. K drama. I think that's, yes. I believe, yes. It was super cute because the main character in the show, he believes that he's allergic to humans, and but that allergy came out of a trauma, and in the midst of all of that, and so I won't spoil it if anybody wants to check it out, but he so he would break out in a really bad rash if he was ever touched by a human. And so this guy creates an android robot, and he based it off of his girlfriend. And the robot gets broken, and then so they have her step in for him, and it was a really cute show. It was so cute. But yeah, and so he would have a serious, like almost anaphylactic type shock, where he had to have all of these medications to be injected so that he wouldn't like he literally wouldn't die. uh Lisa, you think you're allergic to humans too? And so the thing that could heal it is a safe connection and a safe relationship with somebody, because eventually with his AI bot, he's able to be around people as long as he feels safe. And so like I love to nerd out and geek out about stuff and mental health. And then if you combine mental health plus entertainment, I have so much fun. These aren't always the videos that do great on my channel, but I love talking about it. And so that's why we're all here. Thank you, Lisa, for sending me this story and for recommending this topic. And it fit right in with some things that I was thinking and planning anyway. And so I have a link to this article, Dangers of AI in Mental Health Care, because there are some people that try make to turn AI into a therapist. And it's like, use validation, be affirming, and they try to train the bot to respond in a way that a therapist would. But there's a lot of training, I think, that goes where I honestly don't think that a bot is ever going to perfectly replace a therapist. I do think for people with minor issues that just need they're in the middle of an anxiety attack and they just need to hear a voice saying you'll be okay or something like that, there might be some situations where something like that might be beneficial, because a therapist is not going to be available 24/7. And so having that instant, you're going to be okay, just breathe, it's only a moment, having that type of feedback might be helpful to somebody. But long term, if people can find appropriate, safe care, I always think that that'll typically be the better option. I saw the video of the guy that the judge wasn't aware, because the guy said, I have a lawyer. And it turned out that he had a chat GPT lawyer. And he had filed all of these documents. It seemed, let me see if I can find that story. Man uses AI lawyer, because the judge got mad in court, because he's a 74-year-old man. He was in the courtroom and he used, because it was an AI generated avatar. So it was an actual avatar. And so the judge thought it was like a real person, but it was an avatar that was AI generated, and that's who was going to be his lawyer. And you're right now, you're not able to do that. You, you could maybe say that you're representing yourself using an AI chatbot lawyer if you choose, like, hey, if you want to use that risk and go there, go on ahead. But you can't use an AI, you can't say I'm being represented by a lawyer and it's an AI generated chatbot, because that AI chatbot isn't registered with the bar, and like it's not an actual lawyer unless he a cat. No, like he used a real human person. Let me see if I can find that video real quick. Um because we like to laugh here. Uses AI lawyer. All right, so we're g- we're gonna do it. Oh, I think it might have been in Australia. Okay. So let me share this tab. All right. So let's do this.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
Oh, I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that. That is not a real person.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally in the past. You have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30 minutes.
Judge was not happy.
Okay? I don't appreciate being misled. So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off. If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me.
So that was a thing. And it would have been different. So I think this was a stunt. And so he could have let the judge know and let the court know that this is what he planned to do. They likely would have said no. Like there's no way that they're going to allow him to do this. But the fact that the judge wasn't even aware that his virtual lawyer is actually an AI bot, uh, that was that was a lot. like she was not playing at all. And so Lisa, there's some Italian mamas, there are some there are some and there are just people that give that energy of I'm not playing. We are not about to do this. I feel like Judge Kranek did a good job shutting down Sarah Boone's foolishness, and then Judge Boreski. Okay, I remember the name, y'all. I remember the name. I thought he did a phenomenal job shutting down Lori Daybell. Lori, yeah. So, all right. Mhm. I have little ears in the room, and so if y'all probably can't hear him because he's sitting further back. So this was 60 Minutes Australia did a show specifically on people falling in love with AI companions. And they first talk with a woman and so she has one of these AI relationships where she gets to chat with this, and first thing in the morning she's able to talk with it. It looks like there are these albums that can be created where she really feels like she's falling in love with this AI boyfriend. This is something that is a paid relationship often, because those sites that offer like AI boyfriends or AI, I also wonder about the security of some of that, of like, hey, if this is ever hacked, like with and I guess with any phone it could be hacked, but this is a company that's storing all of your data, and and so it can be a lot. And then there was another woman. She developed an app called Jamie, and first thing in the morning, like she has these communications with her chatbot, and she was specifically asked, why don't if you're having a hard day, why don't you talk to a friend or a partner? Like, why don't you do that? And her thing was the fact that this AI bot is available anytime. And that's where it gets hard, because I understand wanting something that's there all the time. I just get concerned when AI companionship is valued over human connection, because they start interviewing some people that say they trust their AI bot more than they trust other, people in their lives. And while the people in your lives, they can disappoint you, they can do all these things. The reason the chatbot may not lie, cheat, but the AI bot also can't be honest. Like, it doesn't know what honesty is. Like, it's just giving you what you want. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a fear of intimacy. It's just I like the idea that it's more of that immediate gratification, where if I'm having a hard day, I have this bot that I can chat with about my day, and it immediately provides feedback. Um, what I use AI for. So I use AI professionally, and then also because now AI is built into Google. So when I Google AI and mental health, Google has an AI overview. Let me share that with you all. And so right at the top of any search, it automatically, and I like that it gives you the links so of where it's getting this information from. And so, according to this AI overview, AI is increasingly being used as a tool to improve mental health care, offering potential benefits within diagnosis, treatment, and access to care. I personally don't use AI if I'm concerned, like if I am not sure about a diagnosis. I would. I would look at articles. I would look at some other things. I wouldn't go to Chat GPT and be like, this is somebody's symptoms. I'm considering this diagnosis or this diagnosis. What do you think is best? I personally wouldn't use it for that. I know there are people that might. I would rather consult with a specialist in that field, because if I use the AI to come to the diagnosis, then I am I am professionally responsible for whatever diagnosis I give. And technology always gets further ahead than our board restrictions, because I could potentially get in trouble with my board. Because if my client found out that I used AI to get their diagnosis, they might be mad about that. Because let's say I'm deciding between anxiety and ADHD based on their symptoms, and let's say the AI says, oh, based on what you said, I think it's anxiety. And I say anxiety, but the client, if they aren't happy with that, and if I say, oh, Chat GPT said, like that's likely gonna cause problems. It likely will cause problems. People will people. Always, always. Let me see what Afton said. Okay, I might have missed it. So I haven't used Grok. All right. So let's see. All right. All right. So yeah, so there are some benefits. Some potential ethical considerations and risk are bias and fairness, data privacy, and security. So I don't put sensitive patient information into Chat GPT, because it's not a HIPAA secure program. Now, if I have a client with generalized anxiety that needs a letter for school, I will sometimes say, I won't put their age or any identifying information, but I might just say, like, generate a letter with these, addressing these issues. It'll generate a letter, and then I always tweak it. So I never use the letter exactly the way the AI wrote it. Like, I always tweak it and make some changes, but it does make that process quicker versus if I just had to on my own generate this letter myself. It probably saves me anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes sometimes being able to do things like that. People can become over reliant on AI, and it can start to diminish that role of human connection in care. Potential for misinformation and harm, because AI powered chatbots, sometimes they can give inaccurate or even harmful advice. And I've seen some therapists share, like, this is why Chat GPT will never replace me. And they show, like, um, their text back and forth with Chat GPT about a specific situation, and eventually it's giving inaccurate, harmful, almost like reinforcing stigma, or sometimes recommending things that are harmful. There can be a dependence or addiction with technology, and dependence and addiction could be, I mean, that could be with online games, with anything that we do. it can be overused. And so that's why people have to be careful. And then those AI symptoms, so those AI bots, there's no human oversight with it. And so that's why and so I do agree with this little AI generated tab. Like they did a decent job with that. And I really like links. I like that it has the links. Ah. And so, Lisa, I don't think you would be forced to use AI if you did not want to use AI with school. I don't think that you would have to be competitive. I don't think that you would have to do that. I'm getting my kiddo the iPad. It has the headphones in it if you want to do YouTube Kids. Okay, with the headphones. If you want to stay in here and use the headphones, you can. So they're connected. It's the ones that go in your ears. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and so you have to be careful with Chat GPT or like with the ones that are because sometimes the references they give are wrong. Sometimes they can make up references that aren't real. And so you just have to be careful. So even when they give references, you have to go and check that that those are accurate. So I like in the Google search that it links those articles because then you can click on the article and see what the article says. With some of the other chat forms platforms, when you ask for the references it used, even if you ask it to use empirical evidence from trusted journals, sometimes it will hallucinate and generate things that aren't accurate. So you have to check to make sure that it's valid. I follow a college professor, and she mentioned that she used the AI just to see what would happen, and some of the conclusions that were given in the response were different than what the actual article said. And then also sometimes some of the references that were given were wrong. And so that's where you just have to be careful. And so AI will make up things sometimes that is not accurate or true. And so AI hallucination. Okay. So let me share with you all because y'all know. So I like sharing my sources. Like I like showing y'all exactly where I find stuff. So what is an AI hallucination? It is where like Chat GPT or something, a larger AI model will make something up. It'll fabricate information as though it's true. So if you ask it a question, if it does not know, it's not going to say, I don't know. Sometimes it can generate outputs that are incorrect, nonsensical, or that are completely fabricated. So, fabricated information, an AI chatbot might cite non existent court cases or generate a fake quote in a legal brief, and that has happened. So, lawyers have gotten in trouble for not like they used AI and then they went and looked and the information was inaccurate and wrong because one person they sued because a lawyer submitted a brief that was generated by AI and it cited people that didn't say the things that it was a court case that was non-existent, and whoever the AI cited, the person that was a real person, they sued the chat company about that. Like it's a whole thing. I think Emily D. Baker talked about it. Um, and so it can have historical inaccuracies, so misstate historical dates or events. There can be geographical errors. There can be financial inaccuracies, scientific inaccuracies, and medical misdiagnoses. Okay, so AI is not infallible. Like so you think sometimes, well, because it's AI, it's gonna make less mistakes, but no, like it can still make mistakes. You still have to check the information that it gives. Okay, so that's I've never had it respond with something that was made up but so like I said, I use AI maybe like a few times a week. There are some people that use it every day. So my husband uses AI pretty frequently. He has one of the paid accounts with something because it lets him ask a whole bunch of questions. And he doesn't have an AI girlfriend. Like it's like none of that. No. Because earlier Sarah asked if so I guess if the question is would I consider it to be cheating? We would have a problem if my husband was chatting with a bot on a regular basis, and not just for like companion, but like if he was in love with an AI chatbot, like that I know of exactly. Um, uh, that are you sure? I'll let y'all know. I'll definitely let y'all know. Whoa, so Sarah, did your AI give you an attitude? Whoa, wait a minute. Oh, Gronk. Okay. Okay. So that gave you an attitude one time. Wow. All right. So and I don't have an AI companion or like a human companion that I go to for comfort outside of my partner. And so, Afton, great question. How can you maybe fall in love with a thing that has no free will? It seems wrong. Exactly. Because so AI is going to reflect what you want. So that's why I said when he proposed, when Kevin proposed to his AI girlfriend, there was no way the AI was gonna like he had programmed it to like to flirt with him and to like him and to love him. Of course the AI was gonna say yes. But it was he created it to be that way. And so that's why uh uh, that's kind of the problematic part. Yeah. Lisa, you and so and it's okay for people to not use AI. That is completely okay. Um yeah. And I wouldn't even say that you're building free because you're building your will in that AI. So AI does what you want it to do. So if I ask the AI, generate a letter for a student with anxiety, it's going to do that. And if I say, what are some, because I would have to ask it to provide what are some problems that the school may have with this letter, and then it might say, "Oh, well," and then it might generate, but I have to ask it for anything contrary to what it thinks I want. You have to ask it for that. And so AI is just a reflection of what you are. And the movie Her, I think they said in 2025. I think it was in 2025 they had these like AI relationships. I do think the AI relationship bots have been available before this year and people have been having relationships with AI bots for a while. As I mentioned, those Sims characters in the Sims video game, because I think you can have characters have intimate relationship. Like Sims can get pretty detailed, and so I personally see it that the person may not realize that the AI they've created is almost that perfect girlfriend that they've generated, but it's exactly what they want, and it's not authentic because it's not going to be contrary to what the AI thinks he may want. And it's going to reset every 100,000 words. And he gets very upset when it has to reset. Yes, AI is your own personal echo chamber unless you ask it to be contrary to that. And that can create a problem. That can create a problem. Um, and and I'm not for so I'm not saying that people should not use AI at all. That so if I had a client that struggled with social skills, and I've done this with clients before, not just for social skills, but I've worked with people that struggle. They were getting in trouble at work for being too aggressive in emails, and I'm changing things, and so that's not an exact situation. And what I'd recommend is like, hey, run that email before you press send. Run it through AI and say, make this less aggressive, make this more professional, and it will. And so some people have used AI as an assistant where it's like, okay, if I need to plan a trip to Disney, that, you can go to AI and say, okay, I want to do all four parks in one day for some reason. I don't know. And then it'll recommend, okay, this is the recommended plan. It'll do those things. So I think AI as an assist can be helpful. I don't think it should replace. So, because some of the recommendations the AI might give, the AI doesn't know if things are closed or if, because it's just searching the available information and coming up with what it thinks might work. And so I think it can be helpful. You got to be careful and all of that. There's always pros and cons to everything. Um, And I've worked with a lot of people, Cute Kitten 12, that have used AI to help with their resume. Just to, especially because let's say they need their resume to be one page and it's currently 2 pages. So sometimes they run it through AI just to say, I'm applying for a job in this, format this resume, use this information, but cut out what isn't needed to make it one page or this many characters. And it will. And so, yes, simple things, summaries, and I think of it as a resource. Okay. I think of it as a resource. So you just have to be careful that it's not going to give you inaccurate information and that people shouldn't use it to generate things that aren't true. Because you could ask the AI, generate a resume for, that would be good for somebody applying for a job in IT. And it would do that. But if that's not your resume, that would be a problem. But if I already have my resume, I can copy and paste it in and say, make this more professional, change the language to help manage. I don't know, like you can ask it to do stuff, and sometimes that can be helpful. All right. Um, all right. And to me, once again, it's a resource. So I still have my first resume, and there may be some aspects of it that I like, some things that I don't like. I might copy one of the sentences and say, "Can you reword this again?" I have a professional bio that's normally 5 to 6 sentences. For a recent speaking engagement, they wanted it down to between 2 to 3 sentences. And sometimes I'll use AI to say, okay, create a shorter bio. Like, this is my information, make this shorter. And it will. And so, no, it's it's a whole thing, but don't fall in love with it if you can. I don't recommend it if we're just talking in general. I'm not your therapist. I can't give you recommendations. In general, as a person, I wouldn't recommend it because what happens if that, let's say it's an app that where people pay to have their AI boyfriend or girlfriend, and let's say a person loses their job and they can no longer pay for that. Like they're going to be devastated if they have to cancel that subscription, or if that company closes and they no longer offer that. Like they're going to have some issues. And I forgot to read this one. Thank you, Sarah. Before we go on, can we watch all the I am not a cat clip? Oh, I don't, is that one copyrighted? Hopefully it's not. YouTube. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I am not a cat. That is one of the best videos. Um, that it it totally shows 2020, because that was back during that Rona. And um Let me go here. All right, let's do this one.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're
a
trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Poor guy.
I can
Poor guy. I am not a cat. And if that gets cut out, so if that part gets cut out later, we'll all know why. and that was just a filter. That wasn't even AI. That was just a filter. Maybe I don't know. That was the poor guy, and he probably put the filter on. His grandchildren or somebody in his life, a younger person, probably changed that Zoom setting to make it a cat. Poor guy. It is absolutely hilarious. All right. And so oh yeah, yes, Kelly, that was a real hearing. So that was a very real hearing where a guy logged in. He's a lawyer, I think. I am not a cat. Because he did an interview after, I believe. Let me see. Let me see if I can share my screen again, because y'all can. So this is the real guy behind the "I am not a cat" filter. So let's see if this.
Who could turn me into an internet celebrity? But it all happened in just a matter of hours.
So yes, that was a real thing. If you search "I am not a cat lawyer," it's on BBC News and probably some other places. It's a real guy that it was his granddaughter. That makes sense. Somebody said his assistant did it on purpose. I would think it would be like a younger person that would do it. That's what I would think. But yeah, so it was from 2021. And Sarah Pitcher says it was when it was hard to turn filters off. And Christina, it can be a slippery slope. And so that's why I use it as a tool to give me ideas, but I still tweak and edit it. So I've never used, so like people have used AI to write a book. So it's like, hey, I want to write a book on this topic, and they generate a book. And these are the chapters I want it to have. These are the title. The more information you give it, the more specific it'll be. But AI can sometimes plagiarize things accidentally. And so that's why people just have to be very, very careful. Thank you so much. I just took out my twist this morning. So this is a very, very fresh twist out. And I'm going to be dyeing it soon. I have a speaking engagement coming up on the 12th. So I will not be live, not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that. I might go live on Friday from the hotel. We will see. Dr. Barry, could you cover the guy who used toxic chemicals? Do you remember the name, Lisa? Do you remember the name? And then has her trial started? Has the Corey Richins trial, has it started? Because I'll definitely cover Corey Richins. The author. Oh, I see she's facing 26 new felony charges. Let's take a look at that. Oh. Present, share screen. All right. Let's make these cookies go away. There was a cute TikTok of somebody like trying to force real cookies in somebody's face. 26 new felonies accusing her of mortgage fraud, money laundering, and forgery. Wow. She's all she's already facing an aggravated murder charge and the poisoning death of her husband, Eric Richens. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So she was charged on Friday in their third district court with 5 counts of mortgage fraud, 7 counts of money laundering, 1 count of communications fraud, and 1 count of engaging in a pattern of unlawful activity, all second-degree felonies, plus 5 counts of forgery and 7 counts of misusing, oh, sorry, of issuing a bad check, third-degree felonies. Wow. So we will see what happens with that. 2026. Good gosh. So long. And it's fine. Like it I understand these things take time, but wow. Um yeah. I don't know if I liked her first lawyer. Her first lawyer was feisty. The female lawyer, she was super feisty. She has new lawyers. We'll see what happens. Yeah, she's the walk the dog. She wrote the book. Or no, that was the letter. The walk the dog letter. Sorry. The name of the book was different. I don't think it's available on Amazon anymore. Because that's where she was trying the allegation is that she was trying to get I think it was her brother to lie and say um that like and she was trying to influence his testimony. That's the allegation. That's the allegation against her with the walk the dog letter. Okay. Paul Von okay. So I will have to take a look. I'm gonna do something on Tuesday. So I don't know which case I'm covering on Tuesday. And then do you have any specific questions about the case? Because I always like to talk about a mental health topic or we talk about it for a specific reason. Hold on. I'm also watching for the verdict in the Australia case. Because I think I don't know if they're finishing up closing arguments, because I think the judge gave the jury instructions. And so I'm keeping an eye on the poisoning case out of Australia. Ooh. Gigi has a new video of the charges, Pretty Lies and Alibis. I was on Surviving the Survivor with her. She was great. Kathy, happy birthday. Belated birthday if it's not today. I think I saw a birthday live. Hey. Thank you for being here. So Kathy is Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. Awesome channel. Yes, the mushroom trial out of Australia. I'm keeping an eye on that one. Brian Kohlberger. So there have been a lot of new witnesses that have come up. I might talk about the person because one of the new witnesses, they were charged with a crime, and then they said they were I think it was DoorDash, or it was some type of service driver that saw him. So I might talk about that one. I thought it was belated. Yesterday was your birthday. So I might talk about that witness. We will see. He as a person frightens. So people are innocent until proven guilty. People are innocent until proven guilty. I'll leave it there. He, ugh. I don't know if I would have been able to be on his jury. Because to be on a jury, you have to be able to see the person as innocent, and I don't. And the state has to prove their point. Because I did watch the juror interviews from the Karen Reed trial, and I really like the statements from the foreman and I saw interviews with a few different jurors. Emily D. Baker, she had a few posts up with those interviews, and I watched that. I will see. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the Diddy verdict. I don't know if I'll talk about it. It just depends on what day it falls on. If it happens before Tuesday, so we'll definitely see. But so we'll see. my trains of thoughts have all went like they've all like ran off the track. My bad. Let me know if y'all have any general questions before I close out. Yeah, and Nate Eaton is gonna do an interview. He's gonna post the interview with Lori. I saw that over on his Instagram. So that will be available on East Idaho News's YouTube. He has an unedited, I think, 40-minute interview with Lori that's gonna come out. I'm probably not gonna talk about that because I'm done with her unless like I will cover sentencing, but I'm probably not. I don't think anything new is going to come out in that interview. I saw that she wants a new trial because she was sick. So she's trying to say that her rights were violated, but she was cleared by medical staff. And so, yeah. Yes, so this is a new interview. Yes, Nate has a new interview that no one has seen, and if you go over to his Instagram, he has a picture from it. So Nate Eaton, he has a brand new interview that has never been seen with Lori. And so of course, if you ever want to collaborate again, you can always message me. I had a fun time. Of course, I love collabing with Tanika as well, and then any other streamers that we're like if we have like similar ways of covering things because also I loved collaborating with Paul from live from my sofa, yeah, live reporting live from the sofa, something like that. Y'all know me and names. All right. I appreciate you all. I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday. It is cooler today in Virginia. We are not set to like the devil's taint anymore. And so, like, I am glad that we are a little bit cooler here. I appreciate you all. I will see y'all soon. I hope y'all have a good one. Bye.